For years, the world watched in horror. Adolf Hitler, the dictator of Nazi Germany, held Europe captive in a web of terror and violence. His ambition knew no bounds, his cruelty knew no limits. Millions suffered under his reign. The world desperately yearned for his downfall. Hitler's grip on power seemed absolute. He had convinced millions with his hateful ideology and promises of a 1,000-year Reich. His armies, fueled by fanaticism, had conquered vast swathes of Europe. The world wondered, could this nightmare ever end? The answer, thankfully, was yes. The seeds of Hitler's destruction were sown by his own hand. His insatiable lust for power, his delusional belief in his own invincibility, these fatal flaws would ultimately lead to his demise. The world held its breath. Hope flickered amidst the darkness. The end, when it came, would be a collective sigh of relief, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. The first cracks in Hitler's facade of invincibility appeared in the vast expanse of the Eastern Front. The German invasion of the Soviet Union, launched in 1941, was meant to be a swift and decisive campaign. Instead, it became a quagmire, a war of attrition that slowly drained the lifeblood from the Nazi war machine. The Battle of Stalingrad, a brutal 6-month siege, marked a turning point. The German Sixth Army, once considered invincible, was encircled and destroyed. The myth of German invincibility lay shattered in the frozen ruins of the city. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, another blow was struck against the Nazi war machine. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941 brought the United States into the war, tipping the balance of power irrevocably against the Axis powers. The sleeping giant had awakened, and its industrial might would soon be unleashed against Hitler's crumbling empire. The tide of war was turning. The Allied victory at Stalingrad was a harbinger of things to come. From that point onwards, German armies were on the defensive, slowly but surely being pushed back towards the borders of the Reich. In June 1944, the long-awaited Allied invasion of France finally came. Operation Overlord, better known as D-Day, saw thousands of Allied troops storm the beaches of Normandy, establishing a crucial foothold in Western Europe. The liberation of Paris in August 1944 sent shockwaves through the Nazi leadership. The myth of Hitler's genius, carefully cultivated through years of propaganda, was crumbling. The walls were closing in. As Allied armies advanced on Germany from both east and west, another front opened up in the skies above. The Allied strategic bombing campaign, launched in 1942, aimed to cripple Germany's industrial capacity and break the morale of its people. Cities like Hamburg and Dresden were reduced to rubble in devastating firebombing raids, killing hundreds of thousands of civilians. The constant threat of air attack made life unbearable for ordinary Germans. Meanwhile, Germany's access to vital raw materials such as oil and rubber was being choked off by Allied naval blockades. Germany's war economy, already stretched to breaking point, began to unravel. Section 5 isolated and enraged Hitler's bunker mentality. As the war turned decisively against Germany, Hitler retreated further and further into his own delusional world. Isolated in his headquarters, first at the Wolf's Lair in East Prussia, and later in the Fuhrerbunker beneath the Reich Chancellery in Berlin, he became increasingly paranoid and detached from reality. Surrounded by a small coterie of loyal followers, Hitler clung to the belief that Germany could still achieve victory. He issued increasingly unrealistic orders, blaming his generals for defeats and ordering suicidal counterattacks. His physical and mental health deteriorated rapidly. His hands trembled uncontrollably. His voice was reduced to a hoarse whisper, and his face was a mask of exhaustion and rage. Section 6. The final act. A desperate end in the Fuhrerbunker. By April 1945, the Battle of Berlin was raging. Soviet forces, fueled by a desire for revenge after years of brutal Nazi occupation, fought their way into the heart of the German capital. Trapped in his underground bunker, Hitler's world was shrinking by the day. The sounds of battle raged above, a constant reminder of the impending doom. His most loyal followers, including Joseph Goebbels and Heinrich Himmler, had either deserted him or committed suicide. On April 30th, 1945, with Soviet troops just a few blocks away, Hitler committed suicide by swallowing a cyanide capsule and shooting himself in the head. His wife, Eva Braun, whom he had married just hours earlier, also took her own life by ingesting cyanide. Section 7. The world reacts. A collective sigh of relief. News of Hitler's death spread quickly around the world. For millions, it was as if a great weight had been lifted from their shoulders. In London, crowds gathered in Trafalgar Square and outside Buckingham Palace, cheering and waving flags. In Paris, people danced in the streets, celebrating the end of 4 long years of Nazi occupation. In the United States, President Truman announced the news to the nation, declaring that this is a victory of more than arms alone. This is a victory of liberty over tyranny. Section 8. The legacy of a tyrant. Lessons from the ruins. The world that emerged from the ruins of World War II was forever scarred by the horrors of the Nazi regime. Millions lay dead, victims of a genocidal ideology that sought to exterminate entire populations based on race, religion, and sexual orientation. The legacy of Hitler's reign of terror is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power, blind obedience, and the corrosive effects of hate and intolerance. The Nuremberg trials, held in 1945 to 46, brought many of the surviving Nazi leaders to justice for their crimes against humanity, establishing an important precedent for international law and accountability. Section 9. Never again. A world rebuilt from ashes. The world that emerged from the ashes of World War II was determined to prevent such horrors from ever happening again. The United Nations was founded in 1945 with the goal of maintaining international peace and security, promoting human rights and fostering global cooperation. The lessons learned from the Holocaust led to the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. A landmark document that enshrines the fundamental rights and freedoms of all human beings, regardless of race, religion, sex, language, or any other status. The downfall of Adolf Hitler serves as a powerful reminder that even the most brutal dictatorships are not invincible. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of collective action, and the importance of never giving up hope, even in the darkest of times.